Hello, people, and welcome to PDA week number 7. We are taking on Coach Ivory in the Motown Reva Rooms. This matchup really doesn't matter for both of us. I think both of us are basically secured for playoffs. And you may be asking yourself, why do I say that with such confidence? Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have guaranteed made playoffs. Unfortunately, Ninjach, I think that's his name. He has been incredibly inactive and therefore has been removed from the league and therefore with the last 2 weeks. And there's no point of anyone trying to take over team because there's no point in making playoffs with it. They have decided to forfeit the win. And thankfully for us, we were already going to be facing them in week 8. So this is our last game of the regular season before playoffs, which means, ladies and gentlemen, we have made playoffs, which is really, excuse me, really awesome. Finally getting back in that playoff circle where we know we can thrive and do well with. And like I told you guys, every time I draft sand, I will make the playoffs. You all doubted the power of sand, but I have brought you the true talent. Now, looking at this matchup again, like I said, it didn't really matter for bench, but I did still want to give it a good fight because I never knew if we were going to make playoffs or not. We were basically one win away from making playoffs. Like if we had beaten Ivory today, or if we lost to Ivory, it didn't matter. But like if we won versus Ivory, we guarantee make playoffs. So if we win this game, it makes it look like it's irrelevant that we got a free win, which would be nice. I would like to have that on a good conscience. But I'm actually not gonna go in deep with this match just because, like, I didn't really be professional with this one. To be honest with you guys, I actually played this game in a call with friends, and they actually did not watch me play or give me any advice. I was just kind of quiet, playing the game on mute and stuff like that. Um, just because I just wanted to get the game over with. I was already being late as it is, so um, yeah, but with that being said, just real quick, this is the team that they have here. They have Dragapult, Tail, Swampert, Rotom, Heat, Inteleon, Monkey Dory, Galarian Zapdos, Fortress, Wuchen, Blissey, Low Kicks, and Sudowoodo, with Terra Captains being the Wuchen and Low Kicks, with Wuchen being Grass, Fairy, and Steel, with Low Kicks also then being Bug, Dark, and Fighting. The 6 I predicted was Dragapult, Screamtail, Swampert, Rotom, Heat, Galarian Zapdos, low kicks. Also on Dragon Ball, Scream Tail, Swarm, Roji, Galarian Zapdos, slow kicks. Yeah. There was possibilities of Fortress if we really wanted to hazard sack me. There was the possibility of Inteleon, which can do really well to me. Between these two Terra Captains, I think Low Kicks is a better Terra Captain, but I wouldn't sleep on the potential of a Woolshed with Terra in this match. But very much a threatening team. Also, Monkey Dory had some merit to come, but I didn't feel like it was going to come really here. So, looking at the team we brought this week, we brought a Terra Normal Tauros here, which does so much damage in this matchup. This thing is a really good mon that outspeeds majority of everything, outspeeds Scarf Pult, which is really great, and overall is just a very good mon that I can just use to revenge things with and do a lot of damage with. Up next, we have our especially defensive Hippowdon here with Ice Ring, Heavy Slam, Slack Off, and Stonage. You may be noticing we're not running a ground type move. Realistically speaking, I don't need ground stab in this matchup, and I can really take advantage of a Zapdos pivoting in on me with a Stonage because it takes it. But then with Ice Fang, does a lot more damage. Like I said, this is primarily more especially defensive, and also we have a good chunk of speed on this thing to actually outspeed some of the more lower tier speed tier bulk that doesn't want to run speed. So, if Fortress comes, I'll get walled. But overall, Hippowdon does really well in the matchup, and it really helps support our Mon in Excadrill. And we're actually running a very cool Excadrill set here. This is designed to function under screens to set up both physically and defensively. Swords and Denier Defense really give us good longevity in being defensive in this matchup, which is why you see the 116 speed HP in defense EVs on stuff like that. But Rock Slide plus Earthquake literally is very much unresistant on his team. I did debate going Iron Head in this matchup, but I think it was just because I was worried about water types. Maybe I legitimately don't know why I wasn't Iron Head in this game, honestly. But Rock Slide covered a lot of bases. It was neutral to Zapdos, covered a lot of neutral switch-ins. But then Earthquake just wrecked everybody. We have a Lumberry in order to stop a potential Scarf Willow Polt, which is a possibility, or if this is a Polt that is designed to outspeed my Excadrill understand with a D-Dance potentially. But this is designed to again be able to be able to weaken in that thing and just be able to KO off with a pick and nothing. With this investment, we do outspeed everything besides any potential Scarf Bolt or +1 Dragon Bolts out there besides that. But overall, it's just really good mon. Up next, we have good old reliable sack piece, the Kire, the Grimmsnarl here, with our standard trusty light clay with dual screens, taunt, player up, taunt just to stop setup and also to stop hazards potentially. Dual screens is really great, and then player up is just there. We're max HP, especially defensive this week, just because I felt like it'd be more specially defensive was better in this matchup. Up next, we got our tried and true Bronzong rocking out again with the Calm Mind weakness policy this week, baby. Psychic, Flash Cannon, and Grass Knot. Max HP, 48 in defense, 56 depth with the 152 in special attack. Modest nature. This is designed to be under screens, be able to be a giant threat to his team. He has no good switching to this Pokemon besides Fortress. And even then, Fortress is not especially effective. We damn near 2 a KO that thing with just +2 in general, which is really great. And this is just a super strong Pokemon into his team, and especially if we get the screens up. Up next, we have again kind of like like mini defensive, but primarily an offensive Rotom Wash set this week with Will-O-Wisp, Hex, Nasty Plot, and Hydro Pump. Hydro Pump pretty much just hits everything else for super effective to neutral damage besides Wo-Chan. But again, I do realistically think Wo-Chan does not come this matchup. Um, in my honest opinion. But we're gonna see something here a little bit later on that might deter and also might make us think a little bit more different going to the future matchups if we do face them again in the playoffs. But basically, Hex is very much unresisted on my opponent's side, and whatever can resist Hex doesn't like Hydro Pump besides the Wu Chen. And if Wu Chen's there, I have a little hard time breaking it through with this set. But regardless, it does a lot of work, and I think it can do a lot of work in this matchup here. Basically, like I said, primarily just be speeding and everything else that can outspeed, and then just max special attack, and then the rest into bulk for any investment. So with that, that's the team. Let's get into the matchup. And as you're gonna see here, we are here, and they actually had stated to me that this team was not the team that they had brought because the team that they originally had brought for me was deleted. So unfortunately, used a backup team, which funny enough though was pretty much about exactly what I predicted. Um, Probably the Monkey Dory was probably a possibility for him to bring, but I don't think the Fortress possibly was. But maybe it was. I don't know. But he did bring pretty much exactly what I expected, like, except the Monkey Dory and the Fortress. But who knows? Maybe being underprepared for a team I don't know is gonna hurt me in the long run versus benefiting me in the long run. So looking at this matchup, I was really thinking of what I wanted to lead off here with. I decided to lead off with my Rotom here, as you're going to see here. He actually goes with the U-turn, which definitely tells me that this is either adamant, he got a low roll on that, or he is jolly max attack. We go for the Will-O-Wisp here, trying to expect a potential here. We're going to go for a Hex here, and this is definitely a specially defensive Stream Tail. If it was max HP, it would have done around 40 something percent, but it is not. As we decided to go for another Will-O-Wisp, predicting this. And the only reason okay, I don't know why that did that. The only reason I made that play was even if he Terra Bug or Terra Dark, because he's not banded, I always guaranteed lived one first impression and I guaranteed lived one knockoff. But if he's adamant, it was a roll, but the roll was kind of like 60-40 in his favor. But regardless, I still would have taken the chance there. Now, obviously, with having that opportunity, I could have predicted this, went for the Hex there on that turn, but decided not to risk it and went from that. So decided to go for the X right there. I'm going to go actually for a Hydro Pump here on the next following turn, as he's actually going to go for a Wish here. And on the only that he can die to Hex here, I decided to make the prediction and go for the Nasty Plot here, as he does go for that Protect here to get that Wish off. And I'm just going to go straight up for an Hex here, which actually has a small chance to KO him, depending on how special defensive he is. And it looks like he is pretty much max, but he's actually not going to die here. So what I decided to do is I decided to risk it and go for the Hydro Pump here. Now, the reason why I went Hydro Pump there, it covered any mid ground that he wanted to make and also prevent anything else. I then decided to sack off my Rotom, figuring that he was going to go for the U-turn here. But he actually decides to go for the first impression to pick me off here. And right here, he reveals to me that he's not banded, which is great. I go for the Stone Edge here, and that does so pitiful damage. This is physically defensive fortress if I've ever seen one. Go to my Grimmsnarl as he sets up rocks here. I'm going to go ahead and get my screens up here. get my screens up here as I'm actually going to taunt. Oh, actually, no, I taunt first Ozzy Voltwitch, which was a good play on his end. And right here, I decided to go straight up for my screens here. I know I can live one hit with this, and he's actually going for the U-turn here, which actually shows me that he's trying to go for the Toxic Chains here. I now go for the Reflect as he's going to U-turn here and in back into the Monkey Dory. I decided to taunt here and basically sack off my Kyurem just to be able to make sure this thing cannot set up in front of me. He actually gets a crit into the Poison Touch with the Toxic Chain, which is very unfortunate here, because now that does mean that I am dead to any move he goes for here. But he actually decides to go for the first impression, which I'm very surprised. I figured the U-turn would have been smarter, but I guess he did not want to give me switch initiative. So I go into my Bronzong here, and I actually decided to go straight up for a Flash Cannon here. I could have Calm Minded, but I didn't feel like risking it, so I go for Flash Cannon, get rid of the low kicks, and now I go for a Psychic here. Thankfully, do not get paralyzed and actually almost kill the Dragon Bolt here. As the Dragon Bolt's actually going to go for the U-turn here into the Fortress. So you guys are going to see this does so much damage to Fortress. And here's what's funny. He goes for Pain Split. He ends up helping me and putting himself in range to where he almost would have died to that hit, which is funny. But he's got Pain Split here again and not get enough HP. He's actually going to die on the next Psychic, which thankfully I do not get paralyzed. So Fortress picking up another 2 kills. You'll love to see it. Now here, I just sack off my Bronzong. No reason to cave it. I go into my Tauros here. Decide to go for Iron Head, and thankfully he stays in. We get rid of the Dragon Bolt, which is great. In comes Zapdos. I'm basically going to sack off my Hippowdon here, and a lot of people are going to say like I threw away a lot of diff by not being Terra Ghost. If I was Terra Ghost, I would have probably just went for that and probably would have most likely gotten the win right there. But I felt like there was no reason to beat Terragos in this matchup. I really wanted to beat Terragos, but I could not risk the low kicks. That was the biggest reason I didn't go for it. But now I go into my Tauros here. My Tauros gets to claim up KO, which is really great. 2 kills for Tauros. You'd love to see it. And we might give Tauros something. He deserves it after a while. And Body Slam here. Unfortunately, this is a slightly defensive Zapdos here. But is going to go down. And right here, I have to risk a Rock Slide miss. And if I miss, I lose. So here's hoping that I don't bite myself. Thankfully, I do connect. And we are going to win this game 1-0. GG's to Ivory. Obviously, Ivory did not bring the best team. But Ivory almost was able to pull that off. If I was Terra Ghost, I think I would have won this game with my Tauros in the end game there with 4 kills, with 3 kills. But it is what it is. But we basically pick up the win here, thankfully, and we are now 6-2 to finish the season, which is awesome and amazing. Which means if my other two people that are 5-1 or 5-2 lose out their seasons, we actually will clinch the number 1 seed. And if not, we're basically going to be guaranteed 1, 2, or 3 in terms of the seeding. And there could be a small possibility that we could rematch Ivory, which would be both good and bad. It'd be good because he can actually bring a team versus us, which is really great. But it'd be bad because now he kind of gets an idea of what my best build looks like. And it would definitely be a very troublesome rematch because now I have to either scrap everything I have done or I have to change exactly what I went into this matchup. So, with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Like, comment, share, subscribe. We are now 6-2. We're going to the playoffs. And finally, we're getting back into the winner's circuit right now, baby. With that being said, though, thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.